Romania Black, and time flies, doesn't it? I can't believe I am finally reacting to Ace of the Diamond anime again. Oh my gosh. So, look, y'all need to know the context. Hi, I'm Romania Black. I am a teacher. I am a speech coach. I geek out with anime and manga and donghua and all that fun stuff. And back in 2021, y'all, 2021, I started watching Ace of the Diamond, and I did some research today to prep for this. I'm like, how long has it been since I've watched the anime? I finished the Act 2 Season 1 in July of 2022, almost 4 years ago. That is crazy! 4 years? Where has the time gone? Where has the time gone? I went to my first MLB game almost 4 years ago. That's just, crazy talk. And then I looked and then I read the manga after I finished Act 2 Season 1. And that I got done with in February of 2023. And then there was a follow-up chapter in December of 23. And then another follow-up chapter in May of 24. And then it's already been almost a year, June of 2025, when I looked at the extra game that TJ wrote and put out. That's been almost a year, y'all. It's been almost a year. What? So time is flying. The concept of time is insane, but we are in a good timeline because we have the next season of Ace of the Diamond Act 2 right in front of us. And I can't believe it. I'm sure I look so much different than I did 4 years ago, but what in the world? Crazy talk. Absolutely crazy. Things change, but one thing stays the same, and that is I love this series. I have been waiting patiently. We all have been to get back into this. Now, a couple things before we start. One, yes, I have read the manga through Ace of the Diamond. However, I have intentionally, as you note from the timeline I just told you, it's been a couple of years since I've read it, and I've not gone back and reread it intentionally because I knew that they were going to animate this and I wanted to be surprised and get reminded by things as I watch because I'm a reactor and that will be much more fun that way. Two, I am going to be reacting to episodes 1 and episode 2 this week. Next week, I should be caught up with episodes 3 and 4, and then I'll be watching week to week with you all. So this week and next week will be the only 2 episode weeks that we have, and then we'll be back to the 1 week. Which leads me to 3. I am aware that this season only has 13 episodes, which is going to be a dramatic shift from there being 52 episodes in the last time I looked. But the last time I watched Ace of the Diamond, I was watching 3 episodes at a time so that we could get through those 52 episodes decently. Here, it's nah, we're just going to go in, dive right in and watch these 13 episodes. The first 2 weeks, we're going to catch up because I've been gone. I've been out of town coaching the team. Being a coach, I've been Katioka the last week and a half, so now I got to come back and be Sawamura with you all. Fellow Tauruses unite! So yeah, I'm super excited. I had to go back and check. We were, as we left off, 4 years ago, we were doing the West Tokyo Summer Qualifiers, and Seidou had just faced Hachia Oji. Furuya had a really good run as pitcher, and Sawamura was glad for him. But our boy Sawamura, he wants to get back in this game. And let me just tell you all, there are things I remember that are coming up in the anime that I've intentionally not reread, so I'm going to try to wait and see about the order of it. But there are moments that have not been animated yet that are my favorite in the series. I can't emphasize that enough. I am favorite in the series, and we're not there yet. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm so excited. So I didn't go back and rewatch my video from back then. Maybe before next week, I'll go back and rewatch it. That would be kind of fun. But anyway, we have lots to watch and lots to talk about. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to actually watch episodes 1. And then knowing me, I'm going to immediately want to dive into episode 2 because why wouldn't you? And then after that, we will come back and talk about episodes 1 and 2 together as a discussion and just go over it because that sounds like the fun thing to do, right? Of course it does. Anyway, so I'm super excited. I have a Seidou jersey, but I wanted to start out with Yakushi because I'm rooting for them. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me once again. I'm so glad to be back. It's so infectious, the energy that Ace of the Diamond gives me. If you watch my April update video, Shimuyama, a very generous patron, sent me a bunch of Ace of the Diamond merch, and that just like hyped me up, and I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to go. I'm so excited. As you can see on the wall, I have things that they've been here for the last 4 years. They've been here just waiting to manifest this series coming back. So I'll probably zoom in and cancel this, but I wanted to show you all that look, Miyuki and Sawamura have been here the whole time waiting for this, and I'm so freaking excited. So with that being said, we're not gonna waste any more time. Thank you all for joining me. We are gonna dive right in. There's a link down below to the reaction for episodes 1 and 2 of Ace of the Diamond Act 2 Season 2 or Season 4, whatever you want to call it, and we're gonna get that started here in 3, 2, 1, and let's freaking go, y'all. Okay, we're back. Man, okay, so my back was really, I've like strained my back the other day doing things I shouldn't have done. So now my back hurts, and so I'm like propped up with this chair, like the little thing is tilted up. So I'm going to try, as I throw this to my dog, to talk to you all about this new season of Ace of the Diamond and talk with you all. I'm going to try not to give too many spoilers because that I feel like we're going to find out whether it's this season or the next season. I feel like we're going to find out. So I'm not going to get too much into spoilers. There are a lot. I mean, I'm excited to get anything animated of Ace of the Diamond, to get more content to look at. But with that being said, there is I do have a couple critiques. Y'all know me. I've got a couple critiques. We're going to talk about it as we go through it. It's not anything bad. I'm really excited. I'm glad to have the voice actors back. Some of the voice actors sound a little different, but it's been 4 years. Voices change. Sakurai sounded a little bit different in this first episode or two. But Sawamura, Raichi, hearing those two voice actors back again in my ears was just... And Amahisa, I love Amahisa's voice actor. He does a great job, so... Amahisa just reminds me how much I love his character. So anyway, I want to talk about some things with you all and get into that. My dog is begging that since I did nothing during the reaction, I throw this to him. So I'm going to be doing that while I talk to you all. But we're going to be going through the first 2 episodes here and just talking through what we have. There is a tough task for Ace of the Diamond because you just spent... The last season was literally, as I get this, 52 episodes of baseball anime, and trying to come back after 4 years and not do a recap episode. I applaud them for not doing a recap episode. I honestly think the only reason they didn't do a recap episode is because they changed studios, which we will talk about towards the end of this in terms of that, but I don't know. You all have to tell me because I am not... The sports anime that I have watched have been like Ace of the Diamond and Kuroko's Basketball have been the 2 really long ones. I know Hajime no Ippo is a very long sports anime. Free was a very long running sports anime, but it was separated out by several seasons over a lengthy period of time. I don't know if anime studios are invested in sports anime to the extent that they were in the past. And we've talked about this on the Discord. It is kind of a frustrating trend that studios, most anime seasons anymore, are either 12 or 13 episodes, or they are 24 episodes at the max. And those 24 episodes may all come out all at once within week after week after week, or they'll be split into 2 cores where you get 1 core of 12 episodes, you wait like 6 months, and then you get the other core of 6 episodes, and that's what you do. And there are parts of it that I enjoy about that. I like the bingeability of 12 episodes. You can just watch it very quickly. There are parts of it that I don't like because I feel like if it's an original work, it's fine because you can tailor that story. Takabi's Original Sin was only like 6 episodes, and it was tailored in certain ways to fit into that space. But on the other hand, I feel like with sports anime, as you know from being a manga reader, if you are, they're typically very long series that have lots of content. And I worry that we're in such a TikTok generation. The youth have short attention spans. They're not going to want to sit and binge 50 episodes of a series, so let's just give them 12 and move on. And I don't like that. I'm old enough that I'm like, look, if it's a good show, you're going to watch it. If it's a good show, you'll watch the episodes. But studios don't think of that. And we are in a very hyper-capitalist era, and Japan certainly is part of that. And they're not going to spend the time and resources on a 50-episode season anymore. They're just not going to do it. Those days are gone. For better or worse, they are not here anymore. And that makes me sad. It does make me have more appreciation for Madhouse and the studios that dedicated, you animated 50 episodes worth of a show. Gee, I hope it does well. And you take those gambles. Whereas now studios are like, well, let's just do 12 episodes and see if it does well, and then we'll go from there. And I don't like that mentality, because you should know, if you're an executive studio, you should know that the fandom is there. If you build it, they will come. And instead they're like, well, if they're there, I guess we'll build it. And that's not the mentality I think you should have. And I've seen it with a couple other series I've watched on the channel this year that it's frustrated me a wee bit, because they're series I really like, and to see them not take the care and dedication to it is very frustrating. So I don't know if we should just go ahead and talk about the animation, the elephant in the room, or if we should save it to the end. I don't know. I want to get through the episode, and we might just talk through it as we go. But I pulled up some things I just wanted to put as clarification. But I am happy to get Ace of the Diamond animated. I've waited a long time. I would hope that the animation studio understands how precious and special this show is to the fandom that enjoy it. You have fandoms who have watched those 175 episodes of Ace of the Diamond. You not think they're going to be invested in this season, even though it's been 4 years? Hello. So I'm not a Japanese executive in an animation studio. I'm not. I really am not. But we're going to talk about this, right? Because there's a couple things I wanted to pull up with the animation studios just to talk about projects, things like that. And there are reasons why I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this as we go. But damn, animation studios are so interesting to me. So we're gonna get into it as we go. But regardless, let's dive into this episode, and then we'll just talk about the animation at the end, right? Because I want to get to the good stuff. I want to talk about the goods of episodes 1 and 2, because there is some good stuff we need to talk about, and some things I want to make note of as we look here in 3, 2, 1, and dive into this first episode. One thing that I really do enjoy are the ED and the OP. They both look great. Now, we saw May in the OP, and I'm like, are we going to get to May in this season? I don't think we are. I think it's just a prelude to be like, oh, it's to come. I don't think we're getting to May. If we do get to May, I think it'll be at the very end of the season. I think that'll be it. And then there was a part in the ED of Sawamura looking very angsty that I was like, are we getting to that in it? If we do, it'll be the last episode. Guarantee. If we do, it'll be the last episode to set up the season to come, right? Because I don't want to give away stuff if you've not read the manga, but there are a couple of games that I think we will encapsulate in this season, and I think it will set up in the final episode the big game to come, like the game down the road, the finals and all that. So I think that's what they'll do. But now what that ends up looking like, we'll just have to watch and see. But yeah, it feels so good to go back to the stadium after all this time. It feels so good. And to start out by talking about, the future, I like Sawamura. We start out with him going back to that moment in the last season where he's like, I'm probably going to make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to do my best, and we're going to move forward. And that's the spirit about Sawamura that I love, that he, especially as he's grown as a character over the course of this series, he's come to understand that it's okay to make mistakes as long as you don't let it weigh you down and you move forward from it and you learn from those mistakes and improve yourself. Like, it's so good. It's so good to see Sawamura, our boy, having his character growth in this moment. Look at Asada! Look at him! Our sweet boy Asada! Oh, he's looked so tall already. already. I need to see a third year Asada, like, just being an absolute monster. I need to see that. It's great to see them. And then seeing Salmura with the number one. We got such a tease of it to the end of the last season. Look at Miyuki. Look at him. Look at that little smirk. He knows. He's like, deal with them for me. Miyuki's like, I'll deal with you. Hey. Y'all have no idea how excited I am for Sawamura and Amahisa. And I'm so excited. So excited. But yes, our boy Aijun. I do like the fact that they got the fire in his eyes, like just the glow of them. It looks really good. I appreciate that they have all that ready. These people in the audience, these spectators being like, well, you sucked in the last game. I'm like, you sucked in the last game. Leave him alone. Leave our boy Sawamura alone. You don't even know. You don't know the struggles he's went through. You don't know the yips and how he had to deal with it. You don't even know. But yeah, so we're going to get into this. And they're like, was it really that bad? Of course, they have to kind of backtrack a little bit and lead us up to knowing what happened in the last season before we, dive into this episode. I appreciate, again, that they didn't do a full-on recap, because for only having 13 episodes, I'm like, they did just enough recap to remind us. They reminded us who all the players were. If you forgot Zono's name, here you are. If you forgot Tojo's name, here you go. They gave us all of that, right, to go with that. But I want to talk about it a little bit further. Of these two together. I love how ambitious Sawamura is. He's like, I just want to get them all out. I want to ground them into the ground. So, let's go back to, we've got Kurmochi, Sweet Mochi, our batting first shortstop. We've got him. Haruichi, got him on second base, batting second. Then we have Zono, looking great, as always. I think Zono got the most, personal animation, out of these first two episodes. Tojo, our sweetheart, batting sixth. Kanemaru, yes. And then, the manga really made me a Shirasu fan. The manga made me love Shirasu so much. I freaking love him. And it also made me ship him and Kawakami. So now I'm just rooting for them. Anytime they're on screen together, I'm like, that's right. Yeah. I love Shirasu so much. She's so good. And then Aso's voice actor, his voice sounded so gravelly in this. I don't remember it being that gravelly, but again, these actors have aged, right? And then freaking Kateoka. Now, there was one moment with the animation of Kateoka that I would have laughed if I hadn't been caught up in the moment, but I'm going to go back and show you all it when we get to it, because it about took me out. But yeah. And then everybody's there. We didn't get hardly any Ochi this episode. Kelsey on Patreon will be thrilled. But anyway, so yeah, look at Miyuki walking away there. Like, what? Okay, we might as well. Look, I'm going to be remiss to not talk about the animation and then go the entire episode. I just want to get it out of the way because I feel like we need to. The animation's fine. There are a couple pitches that were really cool. There is a couple... there are a couple effects that I was like, I had thoughts about, but the animation is doing something that I noticed in another sports series that I watched within the last year or so, and it is a troubling trend that I've seen through multiple sports anime, and I don't know why we do it with sports anime among all others. I've watched Jujutsu Kaisen with this frenetic battle energy. I've watched Windbreaker with some of the best battle choreography I've seen in a show with all this movement. Sports anime are about movement. It's all about body language and movement, and just, you can just, I want to tell the animators, pretend it's a battle scene, because I felt like there were a lot of static shots in this. Not always. It wasn't as bad as some other series that I give grace to. I give grace to Ace of the Diamond because it's my favorite sports anime. But there were moments I was like, you couldn't animate that? Really? And I think I want to kind of get down and show you all the differences that I think the reason behind that is. And it's not to make an excuse to anyone, but here's the thing. I refer to Jujutsu Kaisen, which is from MAPPA. And MAPPA, as an animation studio, has approximately, as of April 2025, according to the wiki, has about 467 employees in their studio, which is quite a lot. And those nearly 500 employees, each year work on a maximum of 3 to 4 projects. Like in 2025, they did Zinshu, they did Lazarus with Sola Entertainment, which I do want to see Lazarus at some point. They did Campfire Cooking in Another World. They did Ranma 1/2, the first new season, the season 2 of that, right? And that was in 2025. In this year, they've done part 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen season 3. They've done season 2 of Hell's Paradise. They're working on season 3 of Ranma 1/2. The only project they have down for 2027 is maybe Jujutsu Kaisen season 4 and maybe a Chainsaw Man series and then Oblivion Battery season 2, which I need to watch Oblivion Battery. A lot of people have recommended it. So, I mean, they're doing 3 projects between 500 employees, which is pretty reasonable. And MAPPA, you know, there's been lots of controversy with MAPPA as an animation studio in terms of how they treat their employees. I think it's gotten a little bit better since the early 2020s, but I feel like that's been a thing put in contention. But for the most part, the animation is a reflection of the work, right? It's dynamic, there's movement, the colors, everything. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 Part 1 is like a freaking piece of artwork. It's insane. Like, it's so incredible. Then you have OLM Studio, which Ace of the Diamond went from Madhouse to OLM, which OLM has been around for, 30 years or more. And they have a team of about, as of March 2025, a team of 204 employees. Now, back in March of 2023, they had like 66. So they've developed more employees, or at least one area of them had 66 employees. Now the incorporated as a whole has 204. So it's about half the size of MAPPA, right? So MAPPA, 3 projects per year, 500 employees working for them on animation, etc. OLM has 200 employees, half of that. The amount of projects they're doing per year, in 2025, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 projects that those 200 employees were working on at a time. In 2026 coming out, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different animation projects, one of which is Apothecary Diary Season 3. So I'm like, they did season 2 and it looks amazing. So clearly in my mind, they're putting all of their animation chickens into the Apothecary Diaries basket. But Ace of the Diamond season 2 is one of the projects that they were working on. So I'm just like, 200 employees split apart 6 projects, one of which is a high dollar project. Apothecary Diaries has been very lucrative for them. So they're probably putting all their eggs in that basket. I feel like that is noticeable in this series. And I love seeing Sawamura and them on stage animated. I love seeing them back on the screen. It's great. It is just noticeable. And I think it's because the OLM studio has spread itself thin. I think that that's just what it is. And they're just not putting as much time in it. Now, you would ask yourself, you're like, well, MAPPA, what have they been up to? Well, MAPPA did Free Run Beyond Journey's End, as well as Liar Game, 2 series in 2026. And they did 3 series, including Orb on the Movements of the Earth, the year prior. And you'd be like, oh, okay, so they're doing 2 to 3 series. Well, why don't they do Ace of the Diamond? Madhouse only has 70 people working for it. What? They have 70 people. They are a fifth of the size of MAPPA. And if you've watched Free Run Beyond Journey's End, the animation, insanely good. Insanely good. Insane. So, I mean, if you take that into consideration, the number of employees you have does not equivocate to the quality of the animation, because 70 people working on this one or 2 series, they look incredible. However, with that being said, they're working on 1 or 2 series and devoting everything into it, whereas a studio with 200, with twice the amount of employees split with 3 times as much series, I just think that there's something to that math. I could be wrong, but I feel like there's something to that math. So I don't know. And the standalone shots, I did notice them in the second Apothecary series. So that is not something exclusive to Ace of the Diamond. It is a decision that they've made, for better or worse. When you're doing a sports anime, there is this expectation of movement, and the animation of the game itself is fine. But one thing that was really bugging me throughout all of this is there was a lot of internal monologues being spoken throughout the episodes. And in the manga, yeah, there's a lot of internal monologues, but I feel like with Madhouse, instead of just having a shot of a character standing there and having the text sublaid over it, they were actually showing stuff happening, characters moving, people catching balls and throwing it. There was animation, there was action, there was energy. And I think what kind of weighs these first couple episodes down, my only critique, well, I've got one more critique. My only critique of the animation is that there's lots of still shots with overlaid voiceover, and I'm like, you didn't do much for that. So you would expect they're going to make up for it. And I have some moments in this second part of the manga that's been adapted that are some of my favorite in the whole series, and I want it done justice. And so I'm like, come on, animation studio, do me some justice. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Give it to UFO Table. Right? So we'll see. Mappa ain't gonna take this. They got Oblivion Battery. But anyway. So the Norikane match. I want to talk about this because I am pretty sure the Norikane match was actually longer than what they showed in this one episode. But not only that, I want to say the Norikane episode, that match was supposed to take place before the season finale of the last season. I think back when we were watching it and when I read the manga, people were like, you got to go back and read the manga because they skipped a match. And I was like, what? Skipped a match? And I think it was the Norikane match and they skipped it. And then now we're seeing it here, which in the grand scheme of things, we all know what we want to see. But part of Ace of the Diamond is you have these little it would be kind of like if we just skipped, what was the one school in Haikyuu? There was like a party school that they faced and the match is kind of, no, not meaning to spoil Haikyuu. It's been out a while, but there's one match in Haikyuu where they face this school and it's pretty inconsequential, but you still get character work and development in that series, so you don't want to skip it. And I feel like it kind of is happening here. Like Arabe, the pitcher with the glasses, I'm like, he had a much bigger presence in the manga. Like, you got his backstory, you got character motivations with him, but again, because we only have 13 episodes to work with, we're gonna just kind of streamline it. And all I can say to people is just go read the manga. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe it's just manga bait, but I do like it. I'm not meaning to sound like, I know people in the comments will be like, you hate it. I don't hate it. I love the fact that we're back, but I would be remiss to not mention it because I know people are thinking it. So I feel like it's important we kind of talk about it. But yeah, but anyway, so Sawamura gets to pitch the complete game. I do think it's a smart choice though, in hindsight, looking back. I think it's a really smart choice for them to have saved this game to start out the season because it is Sawamura pitching the whole game. And when you go from last of how season, 3 ended with Sawamura like watching Furuya pitching from the sidelines, I think it's cool to like jump in with a game where Sawamura is pitching the whole time. It sets the tone, sets the stage. Our boy has grown. He's the ace now. Like it helps to kind of cement the tone for what this season is going to give us. Also, I just love that we get to see Seidou and Okamura and Yui. Koshu I love his character so much. And we'll get to the part where Sawamura was texting Amahisa. But I love that Koshu has basically become Sawamura's like protection, like guard dog. Miyuki's like, you gonna watch over him? And he's like, yes. But yeah. So we get to meet them again, all that, and then I love Sawamura's face here, where he's just got his little bird face. Meanwhile, they're saying he's awesome. I'm like, of course. We cut back to him being the old ace and seeing Miyuki. So, yeah, I do like the fact that they put a lot of animation into the pitches, as they should, because they're kind of the highlight of the pitching and batting, which my first summer as the ace. I love seeing our boy Sawamura just taking charge and just owning the mound. It's great. It's wonderful. So we have the OP. OP is delightful. I love Let's Go Crazy by Baby Kanta. Love the song. Sounds really great. We're going to skip the intro for now, though. But yeah. And then the only shot of Ochiai we get in this entire episode is this shot of him, like, on the couch, and that's all we need to see of him. He is not invited to sit on the nice furniture. So yeah, I do love the way that Kataoka phrases the dynamic between Sawamura and Furuya, because Furuya and Sawamura, what I love about their rivalry in this entire series, it's one of my favorite sports rivalries because they make each other better, right? They're trying to vie for the same position. They make each other better. They encourage each other, giving Sawamura the ace number to hype him up, and having Furuya realize, because Furuya's gone on, I read on Reddit, like when I was trying to catch back up and review before starting this, somebody on Reddit had a really cool post about Furuya's growth and talking about how he went as a character from being this like immediately thrust into the ace position back in season 1 and then struggling and then having to like, he injured himself and then having to refine himself. And then by having the ace number taken away from him, it's allowed him to step back and grow as an individual. Like Furuya's had such a great growth like Sawamura. And I love that they have finally reached this place where they both respect each other. And like Furuya respects Sawamura as the ace, and Sawamura respects Furuya and what he does for the team. And I just love throughout these first 2 episodes, whenever we see like Furuya offering the water bottle to Sawamura, which offering the water bottle to Sawamura was triggering. It was triggering. I was like, nope, not too soon. Too soon. If you know, you know. I was like, mm-mm. But him offering the drink to Sawamura and the water bottle, like those moments just showcasing the respect that they have for each other and the friendship that has grown because of this rivalry. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I love that Kataoka's like, this is going to help them grow. And then, of course, Sawamura just getting an ace number. They didn't have to repeat this scene, but we all love to see it, right? Mm-hmm. And just him being like, I like that. You would think the phrase is Furuya had to walk so Sawamura could run, but that's not it at all. Instead, it's like Furuya had to walk, so now Sawamura gets to walk as well. He's going to start going down that same path, leading them both to be these amazing pitchers. So we go through some time skips in these first 2 episodes. We start out with July 5th, and we end up at like July 20th by the end of the 2nd episode. So it's opening day. We kind of backtrack to show everybody showing up, which these scenes were kind of shown in the last season. We get to see Shirakawa looking like he's going to be in a boy band. Carlos is rarely clothed. And then you have May, who just, center of attention boy band on his 5th tour. But yeah. And then, I'm sorry, but seeing Amahisa on one side and seeing Raichi and Sanada on the other is just, I love the Yakushi versus, I love the game with Yakushi versus Ichidai. So I was so excited that we got into it. You know what? We're going to talk a little bit about it. I don't blame them for wanting to get immediately to this game because it's so good. It is great. And everybody looks so good. They look great here. And Sawamura walking with the ace number on his back for the first time with all of the 3rd years. Yep, we're going to try to win the championship and see how it goes. So, again, they kind of rush through the game here against their first opponent, which is, there are parts I wish we had Arabe focus, but I get it. It's kind of a two-way street. I could see some people, I feel like the biggest criticism that Ace of the Diamond gets is the 175 episodes and that some of the games drag along. And you know what? It's kind of a matter of perspective. It's apples and oranges. I'm a character-driven person, so I loved Ace of the Diamond and became a big fan of it because it took the time to introduce these characters and build these moments and have that development. And I feel like if you're someone that likes that, then the games are worth watching. Whereas, you don't want to just rush through it. But I could also understand if Arabe is a character you're never going to meet again and his overall story isn't that compelling, then, which #sorry Arabe fans, then it's like, why, slow down the pace when you have the momentum to move forward. So again, I see it from both sides. I'm not mad that this game in episode 1 was kind of like just made into a episode, but I know also as kind of like an adaptation purist sometimes, I get frustrated that they don't adapt all of the material, right? That does frustrate me, you know? So yeah, Shirasu. Again, I feel so badly for this pitcher, the captain of the team. I feel so bad for him. We also get Mine and Owada, the two reporters that are just hanging out watching the game. But yeah, I just, poor Zono getting the pitch, getting the strike, getting his struck ball caught out in the field. So yeah, Seidou had a huge lead in this game. They won like 13-1. Insane. Kind of crazy. But yeah, I do love that shot of Mochi. That shot of Mochi, our cheetah. I freaking love that. But again, I'm like, you better pace yourself. I feel like they're going to try to get to the semifinal game and spend most of this season on the semifinal game with where we are by the end of episode 2. Which, again, I'm not mad at it, but I'm also like, I don't want them to rush. Sorry that I'm having to lean down and grab this ball. I don't want them to rush through moments that people have kind of waited to see, right? Because they're rather important. Yeah, this poor pitcher, Arabe, he's just like, what can I do? And what I liked about it was I love the lesson that we get from Ace of the Diamond, where the one coach is like, they played their hearts out. They tried their best. They just weren't better. I literally just came from a national tournament, and 2 of our competitors got to semifinals, but they didn't make it to finals. And they were, they're 18 and they were doing the whole like, well, what if I'd done this? Or what if I'd done that? Or what if I'd held this moment? Or what if I'd done this? And I was like, you know what? Did you try your best? And they were like, well, yeah. And I'm like, then that's all you could do. That's all you can do is try your best. And it just sucks sometimes when someone's better, but you learn from your mistakes. So I did like that lesson that we got with their team in this episode, because it is an important, if Ace of the Diamond teaches us anything, it's that even if you do your best, it's not a guarantee that you're going to win. But there's so many other lessons you can learn along the way that are important. And Norikane, they just got the rough end of the stick with Sawamura on a good day, So, I just look at him. It's so good to see Sawamura looking like this. I love freaking Sawamura. I do like the line art. The line art looks like it's a little bit rougher around the edges. I do like that. I do like the way that all the characters are drawn. They don't look really hokey or anything like that. Oh, it's sweet. Yep. 5-0. And we go from there. For now, we say. But yeah, this poor pitcher, he's just like, I feel like they gave us some inadvertent backstory by just showing us how distressed he was the whole time, just being like, I'm trying my hardest, guys. I don't know what else to do. Like, they kind of gave us some backstory with him. It's just, if you've read the manga, you know that there's more to it, But what can we do? And then we have, Furuya offering him the glass of water and being like, here you go. And, you seem more relaxed. And Sawamura's like, yeah, I am. Like, just... But, you have to watch the first couple of seasons to see that relationship develop over time for moments like this to really have the punch that they do, You've got to see it, that way to kind of get that impression. I thought that this moment between Miyuki and Sawamura was going to lead to them being more like gremlins. I thought that that's what was going to happen, but we did not. I do love whenever Furuya is just like, you got this. He's got like the thumb there, and he's like, you got this. Love that for Furuya. So yeah, this poor batter too, he kind of like, Shibukawa was just like, we didn't even see his eyes. The whites of his eyes is all we saw. He was just freaked out the entire time he was up there, But again, I do like the fact that we see Sawamura. We also see Sawamura being hungry. Sawamura being hungry and wanting it and wanting to test out the numbers. And Miyuki, I like when I think Miyuki likes it too. You can call it a kink or whatever, but I think Miyuki likes it when he has to kind of try to restrain Sawamura because he gets too passionate. And then the numbers, when Asada and them were in the stands, we're going to get it in a minute, but when they were in the stands shouting out the numbers, like, yes, number 7, that's what I live for. And see, my thing is, like, there they are, like, doing that, but it's just like, It's like, yeah, number 7. I'm like, I want them moving. I want them arms going 1,000 miles and them shouting and it like just showing the energy, and it is what it is. But that's some of the parts that I'm like, it's just little things like that that are so good. Meanwhile, this poor man, worst day. Worst day. We got this far into the championship and just got outdid. Got outdid. Bless his heart, he tried. But yeah, I also like that we got like a little bit of his teammates there being like, come on, we got plenty of time for a comeback. I'm like, it's the 6th inning. And you're losing like 13-0. Are you sure? Are you sure you've got time? I don't know. I don't know if you have time. But yeah. And this poor guy's like, why are you taking this out on me? What have I done to you? And Salmer's just like, I do love when he did like the, I'm like, you can't just not have that. That's like iconic Sawamura. But yeah. And so Sawamura just getting to pitch the full game. It was great. It was good to see him. It was good to see him getting into his groove because, you know, if you're going to go forward and if you're going to eventually play as you hope in the semifinals or finals, gotta be on your game. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like the manager, like he's just sitting there, like no mouth movements. At one point, I think Todoroki talked and like there was no like, it just like looked like this. Come on, OLM. Come on, OLM. Now I'm hoping you're saving your budget for some of these scenes coming up. I hope you are. You better be. Yeah, but then number 11, that's so cute. I do love the blush on Asada's face. That's sweet. Asada is like one of my favorite first years. He's great. And them doing the numbers. Sawamura getting the numbers was such a fantastic strategy as a writer. TJ, like, how do you make our main character? Well, we'll just do like One Piece and we'll just get like gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, gear 5. We'll just have the numbers. Kind of works in the same way, just in sports anime mode. So yeah. And then Miyuki hitting that double. Good for Miyuki. And then Zono, and then they kind of just dominated. It was kind of crazy. I did like this animation of the pitch, like the angle, very much like the manga. Really nice. Loved that fast angle with it. That was really cool. Some of the pitches they showed and the hits were really fluid, which I appreciated. Good to see Kawakami. But yeah, Sawamura's on his A game. Every time they cut to Koshu and they say something about Sawamura, he just automatically has this monologue of all the technicalities around everything he's doing, and it's kind of hilarious. I live for Koshu's analysis of Sawamura. He was able to pitch more freely. Yep, good for him. So yeah. Meanwhile, these guys looking all too cool for school up on the hill, watching the game, just getting ready for their own game. Which we kind of steamrolled past their game as well. Again, I'm not mad at it. It's just, if you're a manga reader, you're like, oh, we spent at least a couple chapters on that game. And here we're just kind of scrolling past it. But I could be wrong. I just feel like we had more focus on it later. But yeah. Carrying everything on your shoulders. This is what you wanted. It's what it means to be the ace. And I kind of love that change of perspective with Sawamura in this episode, where earlier on in the series, Sawamura was equating that pressure to being like, oh, this is what other people expect of me. This is what they want. And I have to live up to that expectation to be successful. And it was putting all this unnecessary stress on Sawamura. Whereas in this episode, I love that Sawamura comes out and he's like, no, you wanted to be the ace. I wanted this. So when I become the ace, I take on that pressure, and that's my responsibility. That's my job. This is there used to be an old 70s cartoon show called Super Chicken. It is exactly what you think it is. But the main character, he, had a best friend named Fred in the show. And Fred would be like, oh, we're in a lot of danger, Super Chicken. And he'd be like, well, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it, Fred. And my dad and I say that phrase all the time. And it applies to Sawamura. He's like, I wanted to be the ace. This is what came with the territory. This is what I gotta do now. So it's like, yeah. But I just love it. And everybody being like, good pitch, Sawamura. Our boy has come so far. He really has. He's like, I have to go harder. Which Saomura, he starts getting a little ambitious, and it leads to him being a little bit hasty, a little bit reckless. But ends up being a foul when he gives that pitch. Okay, I'm not so much a fan of this flame animation. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like it looks like something in Canva that you just put an effect over it. It just looks like a digital effect. I'm not crazy about it. It reads very 2000s. But you know what? This studio also did the 1998 Berserk series. So maybe they just had this flame animation left over and they're like, you want to use it again? I'm joking. It's a lot newer than that. But in the same vein, I think it works better in episode 2 when it was like the red flames coming off Sonata and Raichi. I think it looks better in that episode. I'm not as big of a fan of it here, but it's, again, I'm nitpicky because I'm a nitpicky woman. So, yeah. But he's like, I do love that shot quite a bit, though. No one we face will be an easy win. Exactly. You're at the national tournament. No battle's going to be easy. Exactly. I do love that. I do love some of the close-up shots they get of Saomura. He looks fantastic. And Miyuki's like, let's just keep the numbers as we go. We'll be able to do this. And then, yep, same path as the last one. A piece of art. I also loved whenever Shirasu was like, just be yourself. Shirasu's like, don't take shit from nobody. I like to imagine if they did an abridged series of Ace of the Diamond, which would be a lot of fun, but would be such a daunting task. I would hope that if they did Shirasu, they'd give him the deepest voice and make him say like the most vulgar things. Like I don't even want to say it, but I'm like, I would want, because Shirasu in the manga, except for the moment, y'all know the moment, Shirasu in the manga and in the series, he's so like very stoic and reserved and innocent that I just want him to be like deep voice and vulgar, you know. But oh, what a shot. What a shot of Saomura with his ace number. Love it. I don't want to give up a single run. Be careful of that. Is that the ego of a pitcher? Is it simple selfishness? I mean, pitchers are egotistical, but that doesn't have to be in a bad way. He's like, I chose this role. And again, I'm glad Saomura says that, because so often when you finally get to like, you know, so often characters, it kind of becomes like this grass is always greener on the other side, where they get to the place they want to get to and then they realize how hard it is and they're like, oh, why did I agree to do this? No, Saomura like steps up to the challenge. He's like, I wanted this. I accepted this. I'm down. And it feels so good to see him like start to come into his own in this episode. It's not about personal satisfaction. You just got to drive your opponent into the ground. And then they get him out, and that's the game. Oh, it's so good. The end of the frame. Yep. We get Watanabe, we get Kudo, we get Higashio, all of them. And then this was the only animation in the whole 2-part episode things that I was like, Kanemaru has like the stickiest arms. But that's okay. That's like the only shot that kind of bugged me. And then Kawakami, my sweet bean. And then, yeah, Furuya's like, heck yes. Okay, however, when Arabe is talking about them and being a good battery, I want to get back to there. We're going to get back to that. When Arabe was talking about them being a good battery, like it's going to come back to that. There's a shot that was totally missed out. And it's in the manga. It's one of my favorite shots. And I just like, it's so simple. All you had to do is have Miyuki and Saomura beat those gloves together. Not hard. Did your animation studio check out the manga? Did they see the moments? Why would they cut that? Why would they do? I need all the Misawa I can get, please. So they cut that moment out, which was annoying. Okay, this was the moment I was talking about. Okay, I want you to watch this animation of Kateoka. He just bunny hops to Saomura and it's the littlest thing. But Nicholas, I need this as a GIF. Somebody make this a GIF. I need this. Watch this right here. Watch Kateoka. I need this as a GIF. Look, he goes 1, 2, 3. It's like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I'm waiting for Meatwad to come up and shake to come out there being like, where's the Brood Witch? I love Ace of the Diamond. It's my favorite sports anime, but I'm like, Animation Studio, OLM. I'm looking at you. I'm pointing a finger at you. And we're just going to laugh and have fun with it, but what the fudge. I do love, though, it is made up by the shot of him putting his hand on Saomura's shoulder, being like, you did good, kid. You did good. And Saomura with the sweat and everything. That part does look really good. Love that. 13-1, though. Damn. What a hard loss. It really is. Like, I feel so bad for Arabe. Like you said, he pitched well. He did a good job. It just, that makes it even worse, you know? I feel like sometimes when you give it your all and you do your very best and it's still not good enough, because, you know, if you mess up, you can always blame that. You're like, oh, I wasn't on my game. I was sick that day. I messed up. And that's the reason. You can give it like an arbitrary denotation as to why you didn't pass. But when you did your best and someone was just better, it stings. It really stings, you know? So yeah, but anyway, so I love that Katioka is like, we had a huge lead, but the other team was doing well, and if he had messed up, it could have been a whole different ball game. And, you know, the journalists say that Katioka is being harsh, but I'm like, no, he's just being realistic. Like, that in nationals, anything can happen. And as I feel we're going to find out with Yakushi and Ichidai's game, like, anything can happen at a moment's notice, so you cannot let your guard down. You have to be on top of things all the time. Like, you cannot just say, oh, we got a lead, we're going to be good. It's still valuable experience, and it will carry him well next time. I love that fire in Saomura's eyes when we cut to him, but I'm pretty sure Furuya is going to probably be starting the next pitch. Speaking of Furuya, he's the one that hands Saomura the water bottle. For some reason in my head, I thought I remembered Miyuki handing him the water bottle, and I got my Misawa hopes up, but no, it was Furuya. And I'm like, I'll still take that. That's still good. So yeah, we have Sosei versus Koa. Not of importance. They were just like, yeah, he's kind of hot. That guy's black and white hair dynamic. Go write your own BL. Bye. Like, that's pretty much all they had to do in this. They were like, we need to get to the Yakushi game. Although, look at our boys sitting there. I really like Miyuki and Furuya next to each other, because even, like, Miyuki is basically the keeper of the pitchers, which he's the catcher. It makes sense. But I've never been a shipper of Furuya and Miyuki. They are just, no. I feel like Furuya looks up to Miyuki and values him as like a mentor. And so he's always around Miyuki, kind of just like watching with him, learning from him, hearing what he has to say because he values it and respects it. But in the same vein that Furuya kind of gravitates towards Miyuki as a mentor, I like that you have Koshu gravitating towards Saomura for the same reason. And it's kind of a cool parallel. You have Miyuki and Saomura, who is our main ship in the series, and you have Miyuki, the catcher, having the pitcher Furuya gravitate towards him, and then you have Saomura, the pitcher, and Akoshu, the catcher, gravitating towards him. So it's a nice parallel. It's fun, but yeah, Saomura pitched his heart out. Let him have this moment to sleep. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be right. But yeah, I do remember in the manga they talked about the two-seamer handing down the pitching generations from Sosei. I do remember that in the manga. I think there's more explained upon that in there. But you know what? I was like, it's fine. There's team for solid defense. It's a game that is without, I mean, it's not much of a consequence. It says there's that one guy that's out there to look out for, but let's be real. Let's be real. Whichever team wins is probably going to go up against Inashiro, and we all know how that song and dance is going to go. So I was fine with them skipping over it. It's fine. And then they look over. I like that Kanemaru is the one that tries to wake Saomura up, because he's kind of like Saomura's keeper too. And they're like, just let him go. Let him sleep. Koshu's like, I'm watching him. Don't you worry. He looks so innocent there. Our sweet bean. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Okay. Then we get episode 2 for the team. Y'all. Y'all! I'm like, oh! So, we get this episode, which is great. We get started. I was like, episode 1 was a good get back into the series. We're all fine with that. Seidou versus Norikane, got them out of the way. Got this other team out of the way. I don't like the long recap. It was only like a minute or two, but I'm like, we just watched that episode. We don't need a recap from a week ago. Go watch episode 1. Don't be lazy. I want to shout that. People are like, well, sometimes they... Look, I've watched some older series, and when there's a recap with an older series, I get it. We've had conversations in the comments section because I'm watching like Hunter x Hunter, and there was a recap. There was 2 recap episodes in the first season of Hunter x Hunter, and I was like, why? And somebody did bring up a good point where they're like, well, back in the 90s, you couldn't stream things, so at a certain point, you might have needed a reminder of what was going on. And I was like, you know what? That's fair. That's very informed. That's a very respectable answer. Back in those days, you did just watch week to week. So by episode 26, you've invested half a year into that show. You probably do need a refresher. That's a great point. We don't need a refresher when you just streamed it last week and you can go back at any time and watch. If you're confused, pause the damn episode and go back and watch episode 1. It's frustrating to me when you have 13 episodes you're working with and you choose to use any amount of time for an extensive recap. I get it in episode 1 because it's been 4 years. You need to remind folks. But this is from the last episode, damn it. We can just go back and rewatch episode 1. It's right in front of us. We don't need to recap. But instead they give us like a minute 30 on the recap, and we go back to 3 days before Norikane on July, and then like a minute 30, we could have devoted that minute 30 to Arabe flashbacks. I don't know. Or we could have used that minute 30 to have more of Sawamura and Amahisa texting each other. I have waited so long to see this animated, where Kuromochi's like, I'm going to go out, you just stay here. He's like, I'll head out too. And then he gets the text from Amahisa on Rhine, which is line, saying, looks like you won. You pitched today? You pitched today is Amahisa's version of you up. It is! Tell me I'm wrong! What's so funny about all of this is that Amahisa is like, he just wants a friend. He just wants pitcher friends. He's like, I got my team. They're cool, but they just don't want to geek out about baseball. Like, I know that Sawamura and Raichi want to geek out about baseball. So I want to hang out with Raichi and Sawamura because they're baseball nerds like me. And we get all into talk about the pitches and the batting it. Meanwhile, Sawamura's boy toy Miyuki and Sanada are both like, why are you hanging out with Amahisa? And Koshu's like ready to bite him on the hand. And it's so funny to me. Because, look, if you fall into the BL yaoi trope of pitchers and catchers, it's a trope that extends far beyond those genres, as you may know. Then, if you look at it that way, Raichi's like a switch over here. He's just batting. And then Sawamura's a pitcher. Amahisa's a pitcher. So there's like, no, I don't ship Amahisa and Sawamura. I don't ship them, but I absolutely love that Amahisa makes things messy. I live for it. Amahisa is just, he's like, you up? You pitched today? He just wants to talk to Sawamura, and they just want to talk about pitching. I also love where Sawamura, I love his little image is him with the number 1 jersey, and he's like, you got your match with Yakushi in 2 days, right? And then he's like, are you feeling up to it? Amahisa was probably blushing as he texted. He's like, oh yeah, I'm okay. Sure. And then he said, that cutter of yours inspired me to try a new pitch. Uh-huh. And he's like, inspire a new pitch? Sawamura's like, I'm inspiring you? And then, this is the best part of the episode for me, where Koshu's like, wait a minute. You text? Koshu bursts into Miyuki's room and he's like, did you know this? Did you know your boyfriend is texting other people that aren't you? And I just imagine that Sawamura's like, yeah, I've always been able to text. And Koshu's like, well, that time I was hanging off the edge of a cliff, you never got back to me and left me on red. And Sawamura's like, what? I love this Seto. If you look at Seto, he's just kind of like, I am not part of this conversation. I did not join this. I'm just here. And then he's like, yeah, sometimes. He's like, I text Wakaba and Amahisa and maybe Miyuki Kazuya. Koshi's like, oh, I'm not good enough to be texted. I see how it is. But yeah. He's like, to trade baseball techniques and opinions and stuff. I love that Koshi like slowly holds up a sign. He's like, I know baseball opinions and stuff as well. If you wanted to text me, Sawamura-senpai. And he's like, who are you texting? He's like, oh, Amahisa. I love that Seto's like, should I just leave? Is this even a conversation for me? I don't know. He's like, we're just talking about pitches. It's not like that. Like, yeah. Koshi's like, do you know your boyfriend's cheating on you? You should. I'm not cozying up to a rival team or anything. I love it. He's like, what kind of pitch is it? I'd love to hear all about it. And you know Kosei is just like, Sawamura wants to hear all about my pitches. I'm talking about baseball things with him. And I think it's telling that his team thinks he's talking to a girl because Kosei is just in his element. He's so in the zone. He's so excited. When really, like, Amahisa just has found a friend that he can just geek out about pitching with, which is good for him. Good for Amahisa. I freaking love their dynamic. I love it. And they're like, he's got a girl. I like that's what they go to. And he's like, oh, boys, you have no idea the ways that I swing. Love it. Freaking love it. So yeah, so we got the OP. OP's great. Super cute. I'm glad Koshu's eating throughout it. Boy needs to eat. So yeah, we build up. We have the high school baseball, July 19th, round 5 is Ichidai and Yakushi. Here's the problem. I love both of these teams. I love Ichidai. I love Amahisa. He's one of my favorite pitchers. I just love his character so much. He's so much fun to make fun of and to watch him interact with other teams. I love him. And then in the same vein, Yakushi is one of my favorite teams. I love Yakushi. I love Sanada. I love Raichi. So seeing them face each other, I was like, TJ, this is cruel. TJ, this is so mean. And TJ's like, I don't care. He doesn't care about our feelings. Also, this is hilarious. This is hilarious to see them like, Koshu and them just like, oh, I got the hiccups. To see them both like just so stoically watching the game, trying to get, oh gosh, I got the hiccups. Trying to get information for, because whichever team wins this is going to face Seidou in the semifinals. So it's, oh gosh, very important that we kind of see what each team is doing. Oddly enough, I want to say this. Amahisa, he is, I feel like on his team, I would describe Mei as a colossal protagonist, but honestly, gosh, these hiccups, sorry. But honestly with Mei, I feel like he has such a dynamic with both of his catchers that he's not exactly a colossal protagonist because he has a great dynamic with both of them, Whereas Amahisa, I don't even remember who his catcher is, and I feel really bad. And somebody that's like a big fan of his character is going to be really mad that I don't remember his name, but I'm like, Amahisa is a colossal protagonist. He is like, when you think of Ichidai, it's like Amahisa. He is the moment. He is the one. And I'm sure you remember other people on their team and the manager. The manager's one of my favorites. My boys! I'm so glad they just nailed the way he says that in this episode. My boys! Come on, my boy! But Amahisa is just kind of larger than life for Ichidai. And I think that that's kind of cool. Whereas Yakushi has like lots of players. Also, Abe, get Abe out of here. We all know who we're here for. I will say, Studio OLM, they looked at the agenda and they said, oh, who's Sonata Daddy? We're going to make him look the hottest. They knew the assignment. They checked. They were like, oh, he's hot and Kamiya's playing him. Oh, yes, we're going to make him look amazing. Yes, they understood. They got the brief. And they were really good with it. And then Todoroki. I know Todoroki is a controversial manager, but I like Todoroki a lot. He's flawed. He has a lot of problems, but he just wants to adopt Sonata into his family alongside his son. Why is that so hard? So yeah. So our crew is like, Now, this part right here, as our crew is watching the game, with Ichidai being ahead, did they just skip through that? You all will have to comment down below. Did they just skip through the first part of the game? That was the only, content-wise, like, I wasn't upset that they skipped over Arabe. Tears. I wasn't upset that they skipped over the one game, Koa and Seo, or whatever their names are. I wasn't too mad about that. I was sad that they left out the glove bump that Sawamura and Miyuki have. That part made me sad. But this was the only part that I was like, oh no, don't skip over the game. But I guess they're just like, yeah, they were describing what was happening, and I'm like, show it to us. You couldn't do a montage? You couldn't show us through a montage what happened? I would be fine with that, but that was the only part, was this opening where they just kind of skipped around. And I get they're trying to frame it as Seidou watching the game, but at the same time I was like, well, but also I want to actually see it happen. I don't want to hear it from Nakata and Higasa as much as I like Nakata and Higasa, right? And he's like, whether Todoroki can hit Amahisa is what it's all resting on. And Sawamura's like, I like that Yui is looking at Sawamura being like, is that your man now? Are you and Miyuki breaking up? Can I move in? Anyway, he's thinking of what he texted him, which was the spin. I like that Miyuki's like, are you curious? Miyuki, you cannot say words like that. You cannot look at Sawamura and say the phrase, are you curious, when half the team thinks that Sawamura could cheat on you with Amahisa. You can't be saying phrases like that. But yeah, he's like, I want to know about this pitch that he's got. Oh, Todoroki, my sweetheart. This team likes animating Yakushi, and I am 100 times here for it, because Sanada looks amazing in this episode. Raichi looks amazing in this episode. Both their voice actors are amazing in this episode. I have no qualms with how either of them are represented. They both look and sound fantastic. Such a fan. Yep. But yeah, I do like this part here where he's like, I'm counting on you, Raichi. Like, again, it's a good frame. There's lots of good shadows, but it's just a still frame. I do think that the red flames work very well on Raichi and Sanada. The red fire looks the best out of all of the primary color fires we've seen in these two episodes. The red fire works very well. Looks great on them. 100%. Totally a fan. So yeah. And then Amahisa, he says some lines in this episode where he's like, look at you raring to go. I was like, I felt like Michael Bluth in Arrested Development when he looks at Tobias and he's like, you need to record yourself talking sometimes. I was like, the translations and some of the dialogue are choices, and I'm not mad at them. So Amahisa's just great. Like, him showing off, and Raichi was so ready to hit it. And he's like, he's gonna really drag it out of me. Is he now? Is he gonna grab a hold of it and drag it out? Is that what he's gonna do? My mind is in the gutter, y'all, from these episodes. I just love how excited Raichi gets when he goes to strike, and then he misses, and he's like, because Raichi, if you recall his character, is the guy that has been practicing swinging like 500 times a day, imagining the pitches from all his rivals. So he'd be imagining what Sawamura's pitch was like. He's imagining Mei's pitch. He's imagining, the big tall guy from that one team's pitch. Like, Raichi's whole thing is he practices imagining the pitches of his opponents. So I'm sure he's been practicing to Amahisa's pitches, or how he imagines them. So for him to get a pitch from Amahisa that he's never had before is like, what? Like, it's just, kind of throwing him for a loop. He doesn't exactly know what to do with it. And it makes for a really good episode. So yeah, he's just like, oh my God. And Amahisa's like, yeah, I gotcha. And everybody in the audience, everyone is trying to figure out what kind of pitch it is. And it's fun to see Raichi kind of sweat and be like, I don't know what this is or what to do with it. Like, what kind of pitch is this? I've never seen anything like this. And I like his thing, monkey panic, monkey weep. Like, damn. Amahisa was just on fire. He was so excited to get to try out this new pitch. And 151 kilometers per hour, like, kilometers to miles per hour. I want to get it. Converting kilometers. So 151, 93 miles an hour is a pretty damn good pitch. That's really fast. Yep. Definitely took it up a notch. He's like, you should just die already. And Raichi tried so hard. He was wanting to hit it so badly, and it's crazy because you think that Raichi, you would think that he would get it on the third time, but the thing that TJ does that's so smart is that instead he uses this episode to kind of build up Raichi getting closer and closer to hitting it. And the moment where he does connect, and it was barely a foul, if it hadn't been with all the people in the bases, that would have been crazy. But it builds up that tension really, really nice. I also like that you see Amahisa and Raichi. These are two like baseball nerds. I love it. Like we see it in IQ. We see it in this series. We see it in Kuroko's basketball, where they're like so dedicated to their craft and to perfecting it. So you have like a Kosei here is like, come on, I need to be a little bit more subtle. I need to get it to where it's not as noticeable. And meanwhile, Raichi's like, I need to hit it. I need to go back and see it again. I need to try it again. Like, Sawamura, Amahisa, and Raichi have such a great dynamic together, and I think they're kind of drawn to each other because, not, shipping-wise, but they're drawn to each other because they just are all baseball nerds that love the sport and want to perfect their craft. It's really, really nice. And he's like, you're incredible, Kosei Amahisa. Yes. And he's like, that's the way, Todoroki. And I like his catcher's like, hey, now. His catcher's like, come on now. Let's not get crazy. But yeah, no, Amahisa, he's all about it. Just love it. So anyway, that's a good shot of Amahisa. I do like the shadows where he's like, yes, let's go. I can't let my guard down. And he's like, good job, Amahisa, my boy. Ichidai's manager is one of my favorites. I just love how he calls all of his guys his boys, and he's so upbeat, and he's always just like, he's so positive. Like, he's such a joy. I love him. Meanwhile, while everybody in the stands is trying to figure it out, I like that Raizo recognizes that this is not a game. You're already in the third inning. Amahisa has pulled out this pitch that not even Raichi can touch. So if we were smart, we would not want to wait till... I honestly am in agreement with Seidou. I forget who said it at the beginning, but somebody said, is it a mistake to have kept Sanada out for so long? I don't know. I think it might have been better for them to... But it's one of those big what ifs. Like, what if they had started with Sanada, and what if he had, worn out too soon? You can't really predict that. And then it's like, what if they hadn't... what if they had gotten ahead and then they needed him at the end? You can't really predict stuff like that. So, regardless, they decided to send Sanada in the third inning. And Sanada just looks... absolutely amazing. He's like, I love that he's like, we can't let them get any more momentum. Sanada just looks so good. They did such a good job animating him. They knew the assignment. They picked it up right away. I'm like, yes, please. And Amahisa's like, what a compliment. Oh, what a compliment to Amahisa. You're in the third inning and they brought out their ace. That just shows that they're intimidated by you. And Amahisa, does Amahisa have a praise kink? Maybe. But he's definitely excited about this. And the coach gets it. He's like, this was one of my favorite parts of the episode too, where he's like, Chimaru, my boy. And then it cuts to him and he's like, yeah. That's one of my favorites. There were so many good moments in this episode where he's just like, Chimaru, my boy, you got to go up against the ace pitcher. And he's like, yay. That was one of the best cutaways that I have seen in a while. I freaking loved it. But Sanada's like, okay. Yeah, Hiroshi Shimaru. I love him. But yeah, he's like, damn it. And that shot there where he's like, okay, we got it going on. I feel like Blanche Devereaux in Golden Girls was just like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. He's like, that's one down. Like, quit being so freaking cool, Sanada. And then Amisa's like, one pitch, then crack. And he's like, I love you, man. Join my family now. And Raichi's like, yes, that's our Sanada. Yes. Also, I didn't know they had these purple shirts. Purple's my favorite color. Purple and green are my favorite colors. Where is this? Why don't I have this? I want that. And then Akiba's like, we got this. The mood on the bench totally changed. Mori, my boy! He's like, keep it, let's go. I just love that the manager never gives up on his team. He's like, you know what? We might have missed that one, but it's going to be all right. We're going to get this. Also, when they said that Sanada is a pitcher who aims at the batter's chest, I'm like, he's just trying to get straight to your heart. It's just the power of love, y'all. What else can we say? I love it. I love it so much. Leave those 2 finger widths of your pride with me, boys. Mm-hmm. Yup. And then this part was so cute. This was maybe my favorite part of the whole episode. When Sanada throws it to first and he gives it to Mishima and gets him out. And then he's like, ah! He's like, yeah, he points at me. He's like, yeah, that's so freaking cute. My boys, my Yakushi boys. I love that so much. Yes, please. So adorable. 2 outs, not a senpai. And he's like, yeah, good. He didn't get hung up over that. Sanada, to me, in this moment, because Raichi and Sawamura are sunshine boys. They are sunshine boys. Like Raichi is an intense fire beam of sunlight, but he's still like a sunbeam. And in this moment, Sanada is so much like Miyuki, because if Sawamura was having a bad time and then a play turned the mood around and made Sawamura happy, that's the kind of thing that Miyuki would be internally thinking. He'd be like, good, he's not hung up over that strikeout. He would be thinking the same thing. So Sanada is doing the same thing. Like, I would argue, though, with that in mind, I would argue that Sanada is trying to uplift Raichi because he knows how valuable Raichi is to their roster, and he knows he's in control, so he's wanting to make sure that he's trying to make sure Raichi is comfortable, right? Whereas I feel like Miyuki would take that a step further with Sawamura and challenge him as the catcher because he's determining what pitches are going to happen. So that it's the difference between the battery dynamic and the batter-pitcher dynamic, which I'm all about. I'm all about it. I love it. But yeah. But that does not stop Ichidai. They are all ready to go as cleanup, and that manager is not phased. But Sanada just looks so good. I could praise it all day. That's one of my favorite parts. They did Yakushi good in this episode. They really did. But yeah. Strikeout sweeping, top of the round. Everybody's pitching good. Raichi is just, is there another ace that can carry out their manager's wishes so well? I'm like, Todoroki, if you just watched your opponent, I think Amahisa's doing a pretty good job of doing exactly that. Like, what? But yeah, he's a great soldier as well. This isn't over yet. Our Raichi won't let it be over. I ship them so hard. I love it. I need 20 years later, Sanada has joined the Todoroki family. He's just, him and Raichi are having this queer platonic, like, stay-in relationship where they're just with each other forever. Love it. And I need Amahisa doing, like, the Georges from Drag Race, where, like, things are really heating up. I need that meme over him here. Meanwhile, we cut back to Sawamura practicing with Miyuki, and they have a relatively simple, like, non-confrontational practice. Not a lot of challenging things. But then Sawamura... This was I love this too, where he's like, hey, what is a gyroscopic rotation in a pitch? And I love that he's like, I love that Miyuki is like, gyro? What? That is the most expressive I think we've seen Miyuki in a long time in this series, where he's like, how do you, Sawamura Eijun, know what gyroscopic pitch means? I love these, like, what encyclopedia have you been looking at? And he's like, gyro. He's like, why are you surprised I know that word? Koshu's like, he's been texting this other guy behind your back. You should know. Anyway, so Raichi is getting very frustrated. They have a third showdown, and Raichi he's trying so hard to get that pitch. He's trying so hard. And I love that Sanada is in there trying to hit it as well. And Amahisa, like, they make him look so good in this. Just, it's a battle. I love it. I love it. And Amahisa, if I remember correctly, Ichidai doesn't really have they have a relief pitcher, but it's not like, again, colossal protagonist. Sanada and that's a really good point. Sanada and Amahisa are both kind of colossal protagonist pitchers on their team. They're not like Seidou that have three solid pitchers. Like Furuya and Kawakami and Sawamura are all like three top-notch pitchers. And then you could always fall back on like Asada, I suppose, if you wanted to as well. But with Yakushi and Ichidai, it's really them. I mean, they have other pitchers, but do you know them? Are they your favorite characters? Do you remember them? No, because they're not as good. They're not the team-defining pitchers of their group. So if they go down, it's a problem. But yeah, I feel for Sanada. Like, he's struggling as well against Amahisa's pitch. And then I like that Nabe's like, how do you know all this about Amahisa's pitch? And Koshi just throws Sawamura under the bus. He's like, he's been texting Amahisa and trading secrets. Not really, but it's great. They're trading as fellow pitchers. And meanwhile, Koshi's like, I wish that my fellow catchers would trade information with me. So yeah, right now it's 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th. But in the bottom of the 6th, there was a double that allowed them to get an extra run. I like that they call it an insurance run. So Hoshida was in the OP. I forgot that he talked to his bat. I forgot that him on Ichidai's team talked to his bat and like communes with him. And the catcher's like, okay. But yeah, so they get this insurance run, which basically ensures like it's going to make it just that much harder for Yakushi to catch up, right? But yeah, there it is, straight from the OP. Getting that insurance run is pretty huge because you need that to make sure that the other team does not just immediately come ahead, because now they need 3 runs to get ahead and 2 to tie. So it's just gotten that much more difficult. And I like this concept of, it wasn't the best hit to get the ball going, but it was with determination that he got it going. And then Amahisa's like, why didn't he just keep going? Like, is he just too slow? Our poet Amahisa. And they're like, what did we miss? And Sawamura's like, I want to see what kind of pitches that he's using. So we're at the top of the 8th. It's crazy. We're already to the top of the 8th of this game. So it is very likely that we're going to finish up this game next episode. I'm not ready for that. No, not at all. Not ready for that at all. But yeah, top of the 8th. Yakushi's up to bat. They've got a runner on first. And so what are we gonna do? And he's like, it's an easy out for us. And then we get a hit and run. But the runner on first got a big jump and he made it to second. So there we go. So then we get Todoroki coming up. And I just love him stomping up. You just see that big back and it's this like our short king, Todoroki Raichi, like getting up there. I love the showdown here. The 4th matchup between the ace and the power hitter. That shot! Yes! So good. So good. I also love Raichi's determination. Because this is the 4th time he's gone up to bat against Amahisa. He has not been able to score 3 times with at least 9 pitches. But we know it's more than that because there's been some fouls. He's not been able to score that whole time. And that would be, for any other team member, deflating. It would be deflating. You'd be like, well, I tried 3 times. 3 strikes, you're out. No. Raichi does not give up. He keeps going up there being like, I am not giving up. I am going to keep fighting and keep trying to hit off this pitch because he's like, I am determined. So the pitch count is at 87, which in the 8th inning is probably okay. What is a normal pitch count? Normal pitch count in the MLB is 85 to 100 per game. And that's with probably 10 innings. So 9 innings. So that's about normal. He's not over pitching, which is good. But the manager brings up a good point that he's trying all these new pitches. Or one specifically. So trying a new pitch that your body isn't acclimated towards is probably going to take more effort and could tire you out even more. And he's like, first base is open. They're not going to give him anything good to hit. He's at a big disadvantage. And then, of course, they had to show us that shot of him from last year. I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? Showing us that shot. I don't want to see Raichi crying. Nobody wants to see it. And they're like, do it for your team. And freaking Sonata, where he's like, Raichi, you and me, let's finish this. I'm like, God, cannot. I wonder if they're going to talk about Sonata and why they brought him in. I might have to research that between now and next time we have our episodes, right? But everybody's rooting for Raichi and to hit it hard, and Amahisa's like, hey, everyone loves an underdog comeback story, but we're not that team. I love it. He's like, everybody loves a little comeback story, but we're going to shut them all up. See, that's the thing. That's the ego that, like, May would have the same ego. May would be like, an underdog story. I don't like dogs. I'm a cat guy. Like, that's what he would say. So I like that Amahisa and him are on the same level. And so, like, all right, Kosei, we're going to do it. He's in good spirits. God, that shot of Kosei is really good, too. Picking a thumbnail for these first 2 episodes is going to be really hard because we got 3 primary colors. We got Amahisa in the yellow, we got Saomura in the blue, we got Raichi in the red. How am I going to add them all together and make it fit on the thumbnail? How am I going to do it? I'm going to try. There's just so many good shots. And then, yep, it's showdowns like these where Kosei shines the brightest. He loves a challenge, and he loves a challenge when he's got a little bit of leeway, right? And then I love that Todoroki, he's always like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. He's just been sliding and all over the dirt. Like, oh, it's great. And then, man, that one shot where he's like, this is my chance, our 4th big showdown. And the first one, the catcher thought that was a huge advantage to them. They're like, oh, we got that strike. That's huge for us. Awesome. But it was literally Raichi looking at the pitch being like, okay, how did that go? Okay, how was that? Okay, that's the trajectory of it. That's the spin. That's what happened. Okay, all right, I've seen it now. So when he throws it again, he's like, I'm going to be able... It was a fastball, hit foul. Yep, the fastest pitch of the day. Well, he did pitch 151 earlier. But yeah, facing him. And then Koshu's like, seems that Yakushi knows about that 2-seam gyro ball now. I like Nabe's like, where are you guys getting all this language from? He's been laying the 3 at-bats were laying the groundwork. And that hit, in the manga, I wanted this to be in so bad because it would have tied them up. It would have tied them up. And it's just that shot there. I want to have Amahisa and Saomura in the thumbnail. Otherwise, I would choose that as the thumbnail because that's such a good shot. I love that moment. And you just want it to go in so badly. And it just barely is a foul. And I love that Amahisa's like, whoo! Dodge that bullet! Whoo! You can see, like, Amahisa, like his booty hole puckered real quick. Sorry. So vulgar. I'm sorry. But yeah. And he's like, okay, scary, very terrifying. And Raichi's like, okay, one more. I'm almost there. I love that. That's just such a good shot. My boy, Raichi. He caught the pitch that far inside. He's incredible. And Amahisa's like, I'm not surprised. I knew all along. He's a man who can deal with a breaking ball his 2nd time through the order. Look at that expression. He's out for blood. Raichi's like a shark. It's such a good shot of him. They made him look great. He looks fantastic this episode. Yep. And then we have the end credits. Oh man. Freaking love it. Freaking love it. Awesome job. Yep. So, yeah, animation stuff aside, I wanted to get that out of the way now. We just addressed it these first 2 episodes. I'm aware of it. I've addressed it. We're good. But, damn. There's so much wonderful about these games that I'm really excited to talk to them about you. And I'm going to try... I know we're going to have nitpicks. I know that some people are going to be like, they're rushing through the games. They're getting through this. They're getting through that. I agree. I agree with you, but I am going to... Here's the thing. If we want to keep seeing Ace of the Diamond content, we have to support the content. That's just how it is. That's literally how it is. And unfortunately, if you can't really boycott it, because if you boycott it, they're just not going to do it. They're going to be like, oh, it's not lucrative. We're not making money off of it. We're not going to do it. That's how these companies think. So we need to support the series despite whatever qualms we have for it, because otherwise we're not going to get any more content, and I want to see more content. So, and hopefully you would assume that if it gets reception that's like, oh, and the people are like, hey, we want more, but we want you to do better, that they will. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't want to be too negative in the comments, and I don't want to be too negative about the show. I want to focus on the good, and then at the very end of the season, we can hash out whatever's been missing or whatever. But I might want to try to look up and see if I can go back and reread part of the series and see what was left out and talk about it. But I have the manga recorded on my channel, so if you want to go check out those manga reactions, you can see what has been left out there. So all adaptations. But anyway, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below. How long have I talked about it? Oh God, almost an hour and a half. What's going to be really hard is that I'm recording this on April 14th, just to give you a time frame of as I'm recording this. But this isn't going to come out until next week on Patreon and the following week on YouTube. So I'm like, do I go ahead and just record episode 3? Do I go ahead and just record that? Or do I wait for episode 3 and 4 and do it together? I don't know. I might ask Discord. I might pull Patreon. We'll see. But let me know down below if you want me to go ahead and watch just episode 3 and do a reaction discussion of just episode 3 and have it for the following week, or if you want me to do 3 and 4 together. That's your all call. I'll see what y'all say in the comments down below. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And we're back, baby! And I'll be back next week with more of Ace of the Diamond. Bye!